Guys, first of all, full apologies, man. I know this is supposed to be an Evans UV2 review video. I told you when I popped the last teaser up that the following video was going to be the actual review. Unfortunately, it's not done yet. Found out a couple days ago that the person that's doing the editing for me is actually quite busy, and he just wasn't able to get it quite done in time. So he's still working on it. I've heard some clips though, and it sounds amazing. So it'll be worth the wait. I can promise you, as soon as I get it in my hands, I'll upload it for you guys to see. In the meantime, I got to give you some kind of review, and I know a few of you have been curious about it. So today, I'm going to tell you about this snare. Many of you out there have been straight drooling and bugging over this snare drum since you first saw it here in the channel. I just kind of surprised you with it, just popped up, and all of a sudden, here it is. And you know, many of you were like, what is that? What is that snare? So yeah, this is an A&F 14 by 6.5 raw brass snare drum. And it is quite frankly, the greatest sounding snare I've ever heard in my entire life. So the first time I heard A&F drums was probably a couple years ago. I just kept seeing these videos pop up of people playing these unbelievable sounding snares. And I'm like, what? Like, where did these things come from? And you know, the more I saw them, the more I kind of fell in love with them. Then I found them on Facebook, started following them on Facebook. And I tell you, man, I've since fallen completely in love with these snare drums, and I vowed one day that it was going to be a bucket list snare for me. I was going to save up the dough and order a 14 by 6.5 raw brass snare drum straight from the company. So the whole vibe with A&F is that they make these gorgeous, like modern, vintage looking drums, you know what I mean? So they're new, but they look like they've aged friggin' like 100 years. And they just have this character that I haven't seen or heard out of any other drum. So it's literally a piece of art. Like they take something, they age it, and there's like pit marks on there, there's rust spots on there, but it's new, like it's a new instrument. It's not, 75 or 100 years old. So all of their snare drums are cut, rolled, welded, and sanded at their facility in Austin, Texas. And then they're kind of treated with this oxidizing solution, I guess, which is what helps with the aging process. But what you end up with is a completely unique, individual snare drum that's pretty much just a one-off. Like you won't get one snare that looks exactly like the next one. So they're kind of like a fingerprint, man. You're getting an individual piece of art. When you look at one of these drums up close, then you'll really appreciate the details that go into this, from this really unique looking throw-off, along with the strainer, which is on the opposite end. And you take a look at them and you swear this is from the 20s. But the construction of this drum is just freaking top shelf, man. You won't see something like this come off an assembly line. But above all of that, the one thing that's going to get your attention the most about an A&F snare drum is the unbelievable richness, fullness, crack, and tone that you get when you hit that rim shot for the first time. So let me see if I can give you a condensed version of the touching story of how I ended up acquiring this snare drum. So like I said, I discovered the company a couple years ago, fell in love with it, followed them on Facebook, and I even wrote them a comment on one of their videos on Facebook that one day I was going to order a snare drum 14 by 6.5 raw brass. So fast forward maybe a year and a half or so later, our major music store chain up here called Long & McQuaid, that's like our Guitar Center up here, they started stocking A&F snare drums like a few months back. So there's a location not far from my house. My buddy Craig, who I used to work with at another location, still works there, sent me a text, man, said they got a couple of A&F snares in stock. So let me just fast forward to the exciting part here. So one evening I'm upstairs and I'm just editing a video up there, and I get a text from my wife saying, gonna be a little bit late coming home from work. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So about 45 minutes later, she comes home, comes up the stairs, comes into the office, and plops down a cardboard box right onto my desk. I'm like, what the heck is this thing? I'm looking at her, I'm like, what did you buy now, right? I look at the box, and I look at the tag, and it says A&F Drums, and my jaw dropped. My crazy, awesome wife took notes for the last year and a half or so, and she knew exactly how freaked out I was over this drum. She heard me say time and time again that I was going to save up to get one. She started colluding with Craig at Long McQuaid, and between the two of them, they plotted without me knowing what's going on, and my wife bought me this snare drum. Okay, I see. Oh. Oh. It's an A&F. It's an A&F, man. Doesn't get any more A&F than this. Sitting here playing one of these. I'll tell you straight up, man, there wasn't a husband within a 2,000-mile radius that was as happy as I was that day. So since that day, you've been seeing it here in pretty much every single video that I've done. You're going to continue to see it in most of my videos in the future because I'm just completely in love with this thing. The only drawback, and there is a drawback to this snare, and that drawback is the fact that you just can't take it everywhere. Because along with being the most beautiful snare I've ever seen, it's also the loudest. So you can't just take this snare to any gig. This thing would probably reduce a small room to rubble. This thing is super loud, man. So, you know, I gotta choose my gigs carefully, but I tell you straight up, I cannot wait to start taking this thing out and making some money with it. So finally, man, I just want to give a smooth shout out to the people at A&F. I started freaking out and posting all kinds of videos about how much I love the snare on Instagram. So they were very happy that I was very happy. They sent me a little message in my DMs and sent me a little gift package, cool little t-shirt, very cool looking drum key that I have as well. So shout out to the folks at A&F Drums, man. I love you guys, love you drums. Thanks for everything. Thanks, of course, to my gorgeous wife, who, for no reason at all, decided to give me my dream bucket list snare drum. So there you go, man. That's the full scoop on my A&F snare drum. Go ahead and drop a comment below if you have one. New viewers, new subscribers, welcome to the channel. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out. If you haven't already visited the online merch shop, link will be in the description box. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, coffee mugs have just been added, so you might want to go check some of those out. Thanks for watching this video. Share it if you dig it. Like, subscribe. See you next video.